Hey, welcome to Season 7, Episode 69. This is Chip Carlisle with the Knives Templars. Man, we're excited to have on a new special, a reoccurring co-host on our show, Emily, with castingcrafts.com. Unfortunately, we've had some audio difficulty in different spots of this episode, so please bear with us as we promise to get better in the future. We'll be getting Emily a new microphone. Sit back and enjoy the Knives Templars. Dang, Mark. You've done good this week. I give you a guitar, you go home, you watch a little YouTube, and listen at you.
There you go.
That was some pretty good stuff. We ought to give you a 15-minute set on the show sometime and just let you play. What is it you play now? It's the mandolin, the guitar,
sure,
steel drums, and spoons. Man, you are a man of many talents. I love it. I love it. I love it. You got to keep working on that. Hey, guys, we all got here. It's been a long week. I've been all over Alabama driving like a wild man. And I tell you what, I got back yesterday and got in here today and had a sink to fix. I had to replace a cartridge in a faucet. And then I had a toilet seat to replace. When you sat on this toilet seat, it kind of flipped over the side and threw you in the floor.
Yeah.
So we got a new one. And those toilet seats they make where you got the little clips that just slide in. Eventually they work their way out. And you sit down. Next thing you know, you're leaning up against the wall. So we got rid of that. We got one that's old-fashioned. It just screws down and holds tight. And when you get to be almost 60 years old, you can't be falling in the floor because you don't want to break a hip. And I got a new Roku because my old one died when I got home, and I put one in the bedroom. The one that worked went to the bedroom, and then I got the new Roku soundbar, or newer Roku, a soundbar, and it works beautifully. It's got great sound for what I want it to do, and it turns the TV on, does everything except turn the TV off. So I'm batting 975 or something like that. I've searched all through, and basically I have a TV that's an older smart TV. It's like a 1080p or something like that. But the bottom line is that I'm not going to go out and spend $500-600. So we'll just still have the two controllers, one to turn the TV off and the other one that does everything. So story of my life, almost there, but not close enough. Anyway, Mark, you ready to launch this ship? You ready to launch this ship?
I'm ready. It's
all right.
Ready to go.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce. You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast. Featuring Jason Fry.
Yeah, I've been just been doing what we do.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Mark Vasallo.
There would be a lot of places I would launch myself to.
Chip Carlisle. We've had a raccoon come through the screen door down in the family room.
I was a mean kid.
And Josh Ferrand. And now, broadcasting across planet Earth, it is the Knives Templars, coming to you live from Orkhouse Studios right here in Hartselle, Alabama, and scattered across the country. We are on demand, and it's time to sit back and enjoy another show on the KnivesTemplars.com. Well, there we are. We're back. And tonight, Jason's on the road. His GPS turned him right when he should have turned left in Albuquerque. Let's see what else.
You're talking about Josh, man. I'm actually here for the first time in a month.
Well, I was getting to that. I'm excited.
Okay.
Josh is gone. Eric is still MIA. He's probably hammering something out in the middle of somewhere land. We have, who is it? Big Hand Dave is at a football game. He's a big football fan. His son's all involved in the University of North Alabama. And who am I missing? Oh, Otisier's he's making Damascus tonight. He put knife making ahead of sitting down and talking to us for 2 hours, and I don't blame him. That was a pretty piece of Damascus he showed us. But we have a guest host tonight, and we have Emily with Casting Crafts as a guest host on here tonight. Good evening, Emily.
Thank you. How are you?
Very good, other than the fact that it says that your upload is at 0% right now, so we'll just have to figure that one out. You've got a great connection. You're 1920p, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll grab it somewhere or another.
Sounds good.
Yeah, don't do anything. Just keep talking.
I am not moving. I'm not moving.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one way or the other. But welcome to the Knives Templars. This is season 7, episode 69. Again, last episode I said episode 69. It was episode 68. I caught that on my drive this week, and we are back with you. We're the greatest podcast in the world, and if you don't believe that, just ask me, and I'll tell you. And I'll tell you the truth. We are the greatest in the world. And we are ready to kick off going into the holiday season here. We've come through Halloween, and we've been doing a lot for the last couple of weeks. So welcome. I won't start with you, Emily. I'll let you see how the pros do it here. The pros. Jason.
All right. So yeah, I've been traveling a little bit with work, and I've been traveling chasing some deer unsuccessfully. But I'm back in town for a little while. I do have to go out of town again Monday till next Thursday. But so last weekend I got on the knife thing real hard. So I ended up heat treating 19 stainless blades and did 4 forged blades with Hamon. I spent just the whole weekend hardening stuff. So I fully anticipate that a few of those will be out by Christmas, and some of them you will see probably at Atlanta in June. That's how long I take to finish stuff. I was a hardening rascal this past stretch.
Yeah. And your audio's going a little funky tonight. Did y'all hear that?
No.
No?
No, he sounded fine.
Did he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You must be going through puberty or something. That's what it was. I don't know.
Who knows?
Your voice has changed a little bit. Hey, VMAX, what are you up to? What have you been up to, I must say?
I'll tell you, it's been an eventful, 2 weeks, I guess. I will start by, last week, I got this ultimatum on the chat group, and you put it out there and said that, hey, I don't understand why you're not driving up here tonight to Hartselle and joining us for Knife Club on Saturday.
That's right.
And so I was like, wow, I really don't have any good reason not to. And so, at 3:00 or 3:30, I jumped in the truck and took the 4.5-hour drive up to Hartselle, Alabama, and got to stay with the good friend Chip there. So it was an eventful weekend.
Yes, it was, and I'm glad you didn't talk about it because it was Knife Club, and we can't talk about what took place at Knife Club. So
right.
There you go. But we'll have to break that rule tonight because I have to tell these guys something. We have something called Iron in the Hat. And this guy, he's like, he watched Josh Howard make a beautiful piece of canister Damascus with some 52-100 bearings and some 1080 steel powder. Fairly simple can, but it'll look very nice. Matter of fact, I got a piece of that steel, and he's like, I want to put all my tickets in the cup for this piece of steel. And they're like, no, you got to put your tickets in everything else. And then, all the tickets get dumped into one box. And then we pull from that box of 8 million tickets, and somebody wins the piece of Damascus. Oh, Mark Vassallo didn't win a thing. Through all those drawings, did not win a thing. They go into there and they go, okay, for the Damascus, Mark Vassallo. And and then I started finagling, how am I going to get some of that steel of his? So what I did is I traded him an anvil and a stump, a pressure treated cabin stump tree that was made. I had a cut off from it and anchored it down, and we both split our gizzards putting that into his truck. He's probably split his a little less than mine, but we got that. It was only a 66-pound anvil, but the dang stump was like 8 million pounds. So he went back home with that. We both learned that we don't travel with anything inside the cabin of the car in case we turn over, things don't start rocking around, hitting us in the head like anvils. And he left footprints all over the inside of my new Jeep, and I had to go clean them all out after he left. Bet you didn't know that, did you, Mark?
No.
They were just the normal variety. But, when a guy's got new car syndrome, he's like, the footprints. Right. I'd clean mine out, too. We both had footprints in the car, but it was a little bit.
And I broke your toilet seat, right?
Did you break my toilet seat?
I don't know.
No. This was the one in the master bedroom, and I'm like, I hope that you weren't sliding into the master bedroom during the night. Not that I would have noticed. I'm an old man. You guys, I'm going to be 60 next time we record.
Oh wow!
Oh, can you believe that? Yeah, I'm sure you can, but I can't. I cannot. It's gone by quickly. And there we are. So
I'm actually going to be 47 tomorrow.
No way.
Yeah, 47 tomorrow. And I checked, 47 is a prime number, so I am still in my prime, quite clearly.
Oh, all right.
So there you go. There's my bad math joke for the night.
Yeah, I like it.
In your prime, you say?
Clearly. Very much so. I really thought you were going to go somewhere else with that story about Mark. I thought you were going to say that you charged him a bar of Damascus to sleep on your couch.
No,
I got a bed.
Even got a bed. See, even better, right? That's where I figured you were going. But Chip, you are a generous fellow. That's great.
He got 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, and a whole upstairs suite to himself. He even had control of he had complete control of the HVAC, so there were no issues whatsoever.
Wonderful.
So,
sounds like a good trip, man. I'm glad y'all got to do that.
Yeah, it was a great time. Had Dave was up there, and Josh was up there, and Josh was up there, Josh. And so, got to see, a bunch of Clark. I got to see, Clark. Cool. And so bunch of folks up there. So it was definitely a great time, and learned a lot, and learned that if you do canister right, it just slides out like butter, not like on Forged in Fire where you have to beat with a hammer for 30 minutes.
I have not learned those tricks.
That was the coolest thing. He, when he opened up that canister, I was like, where's the canister at? And they were like, oh, you already slid it out of there. And I was like, wow. I went back and saw a video later, and it was just like, I don't know, an ice cube sliding out, a yellow ice cube.
What was the trick? What was the technique? How did he do
that? White spray paint, I guess.
Well, so he used white spray paint, but also when he set it on end first. Right? He didn't set it on its side, with the power hammer. Okay. And then I think the key to it was that when he set it on its side, he beat it with a slight taper. So that, like that it would, kind of wedge out, would kind of slide out. Mm-hmm. And so, but I'll tell you, he cut the end off, picked it up with tongs and said, watch this. And he just kind of held it up on an angle and it just slid out of that can. I mean, it was really cool.
Yeah. I think he was wearing his pink boxers too, because that was just his lucky pink boxers. So
Right.
Josh Howard in his Lucky Pink boxers. He's going to beat me up one of these days if I don't quit picking at him. And he is a hoss of a man, so I better watch it.
So incidentally, I saw on Facebook like literally 10 minutes ago he killed a giant buck tonight.
Did
so
he
of
really?
course I had to ask him if the deer was licking his forge or not. Just like 5 people will think that's hilarious, right? But he said no. He just was hunting like a regular guy.
Yes, for y'all that don't know, the name of Josh's forge is Deer Lick Forge, and as obscene as that sounds, he sells.
He lives on Deer Lick Creek, like he lives on. That's the name of the place. He didn't even make that up.
I know, and that's something. Emily, well, what have you been up to all of our lives? It's your first show.
I've been up to many things. I'm all over the place. Just went to the Georgia Bushcraft gathering this past week.
Fun.
Fantastic. I mean, these people do an amazing job. I could not be happier. Very, very good people, very good setup. Everything was nicely organized. I had a lot of fun.
Now, are you a bushcrafter, or were you up there for business? Or
no, I used to be when I was younger. I haven't done anything in probably a decade now. I grew up all over the mountains, though, so I have done things. I'm interested into it. I just have to find the time to be out and about a little bit more.
Yeah.
Made some great connections. Great connections.
I think being a bushcrafter in Florida has got it. You're in Florida, right?
I'm in Florida.
Yeah, there's too many snakes and lizards and monkeys and other things running around that got loose in Florida. Alligators.
Okay. We don't have that many monkeys. No, we have some.
The monkeys were in Carolina, weren't they?
Well, they were, but there's monkeys.
They migrated south to Florida.
Yeah, we have monkeys.
You have monkeys, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but not that much. It's mostly gators and snakes.
Okay, all right.
Plus, they got a Sam Squatch down there. Do you know that?
No.
The skunk ape. They call him. I call him Sam Squatches, but it's a skunk ape in Florida. So got old Bigfoot running around down there. I do like Bigfoots, Emily. I don't know if you know that or not, but that's
no. I've noticed that.
Like is an understatement. Yeah, he is sort of a Bigfoot. Sort of a combination between a stalker and an aficionado, somewhere in there.
I would say so. I would say that's close. Yeah. So as we jump in tonight, if you haven't been to knife-maker.com, you should go there. That's my site. But honestly, I would much rather you go to got too much going on tonight, guys. I would much rather you go to knivestemplars.com and catch up with us there, because Emily is actually one of the vendors, manufacturers that we sponsor. And I will tell you before we get into a little bit about her business later on, is that I contacted her out of the blue one time and said, "Hey, can you make me some turkey feather scales?" And the lady had turkey feathers. Totally blew my mind. I would have thought maybe trout skin or something like that, or trout patterns, but I said turkey feathers, and she's like, "I got it." And next thing you know, a few weeks later, I've got turkey feather scales coming up. And interestingly enough, I'm thinking right now, do I want to actually make those knife handle scales, or do I want to incorporate those, cut them down, route them out, and actually put them into a sheath on the outside to display them with some type of backing? I've the knife I'm making now, the Bowie. I went back and I did a relief with some steel, and it's a Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot's going to go. The steel plate's going to go back in on the face of the sheath. So the Bigfoot's sitting out there in a kind of rustic, patinaed looking Bigfoot. So I think I've got to make some type of turkey knife that is suitable enough to go into that. So that's where I'm taking them. It's been over a year I've had those, but knife collectors, sometimes they collect something they know they want, and they're just waiting for the perfect project to do that.
Absolutely.
That's always the case. Mm-hmm.
I think you're known for collecting stuff, aren't you? You collect stuff and it sits around for 300 years, and all of a sudden you're sticking it in a knife. Literally. Mm-hmm. No lie. Isn't that right, Jason?
A little bit. 300 is pushing it. I mean, I've done some 1830s stuff anyway. Yes, it doesn't matter how old it is. Now I have done fossilized walrus. The first time that I did a walrus ivory knife, I bought that ivory 6 years ago, maybe 7, and I held on to it for 5 years before I made the knife. So you got a few years to go on your turkey before you start to bump up into any actual deadlines. There are no real deadlines.
There you go, for sure. So we're going to take a quick break, and as we do this, Emily, I'm going to ask you to disconnect, let your upload happen, and then I want you to reconnect with us because I'm concerned about that 0% upload. And when you come back, we'll get you uploading. And if for some reason it's still 0% upload, just so you know, we capture a web recording of this, so we'll have it one way or another. In the meantime, guys, did y'all prepare your song? So, Emily, you can go ahead and disconnect and come back to us. But guys, and then and please come right back. Guys, did you prepare to sing your song tonight?
Oh, we're always prepared. Let it rip. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, are you ready? I'm not singing. I was wanting the two of you to sing that tonight for our audience.
What are we singing?
Afternoon Delight by Starland Vocal Band.
I saw you send us the lyrics. I was curious what we were doing with that.
Well, interesting. I was Eric's like, what is it, karaoke night? Maybe that's why he didn't call in. But it is what it is.
He's just scared. He's just scared.
I guess it is what it is. So hey, we'll take a quick break, and then we will be right back with Emily. And we welcome you back. Hey guys, we weren't going to put y'all through the pain of listening to Eric and Mark and myself sing Afternoon Delight, but I do love that song. I do love it. Hey guys, if you haven't visited TR-Maker, that's TR-Maker, tr-maker.com, you're missing out on something. You need to check out Yusel's business over there in Istanbul, Turkey. But I'm telling you, he sells to every country and every corner of the world. I ordered something on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I've got it in my driveway on Saturday or Monday. And, that's almost that's Amazon speed unless you've got Prime. So it's almost like having Istanbul Prime as far as his shipping goes. But, he makes a full line of knife making tools. They are very well engineered. The Turkish people are known for their wonderful engineering, and it's made my job so much easier. As a matter of fact, I'm setting shoulders on knives these days with his file guides. I'm using a wonderful knife vise that he has invented and come out with that just is a pleasure to work with when you're sanding blades, especially with the knife rest that inserts in it. And one of the other tools that I thoroughly enjoy that he has made and has made my life a lot easier is his grinding jig. I'm not ashamed to say I use a grinding jig from time to time. There's certain knives where I don't, but if I'm using a piece of flat steel and I can put it on a jig and go ahead and put that thing in there and start grinding away, especially with the file guide that matches up and sets perfectly into his file jig, you get flawless results. If you're a new maker or if you're an existing maker, there's no shame in using a file jig. In using a knife jig, a grinding jig. Go out and check out his tools today. There's so many more. You can catch him at tr-maker.com. And matter of fact, Mark not only went home with an anvil and a piece of steel and a stump and some chain, he went home with a Origin Blade Maker grinding jig too.
That's right. That's right. Cool. It was definitely worth the $200 in diesel to go up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he went home with $300 worth of stuff. Plus,
That's right.
plus
It was
the
a net gain.
Damascus. Yeah, it was a net game for you. So, yeah,
and my cruise control worked on the way home.
Oh, good. I was going to ask you about that next. Did your cruise control work all the way? I had to fix his cruise control. He was very unhappy. No, we have. It's another fine example where he fixed it. You can fix anything with a YouTube video and a quick search online. As a matter of fact, tonight I was looking up how to change a starter in a 2012 Honda Civic, and we'll be putting that thing up probably sometime this weekend and doing that particular job. So, yeah, Mark, and I do want to tell you, if you're using that jig, a lot of times I used to drill holes through the handle that I could mount it to the bolts that slide into the jig. And I thought, it's a lot easier. I just get a C-clamp and clamp the handle onto the side and then use one of the adjusting bolts just to kind of rest so that the knife spine sets down on that, and it works beautiful. So if you choose to use it, or if you want to use it, I had too many of those things sitting around, and I really love U-Cells. I really love U-Cells equipment, and that's one of the reasons I got rid of it. So and it works just fine. But if you get around to it, I'll chat with you about how I C-clamp knives up to it, and all, and just makes it a little bit easier. Emily.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your business. Tell us about Casting Crafts, how you got started, and how you got to where you are today. We'd love to hear it.
6 years ago, my boyfriend at the time took me to the Blade Show for the first time. And I was just fascinated. And I happened to go to Voodoo Resin's table, and my mind was blown away. I even bought a set from him, and I still have it, even though I don't make knives. That set is sitting right here to remind me where I started from.
How's he doing these days?
I haven't talked to him for probably a couple of months now.
I actually put in Emily, close your ears. I actually ordered from Matt like last week. Yeah, Matt I do some business sometimes. And
let me tell you, what he does, I cannot make.
Good fellow.
Yes.
Okay, so I was just
very good friends.
Yeah, I was going to think I haven't talked to him in 5.5 years, but undoubtedly he's connected to the industry. Well, hello, Matt. What does Matt do, by the way?
I don't know everything that he does, but he does resin knife scales, and he primarily uses. Yeah. He makes scale.
So we're going to quit talking about Matt right now, because we definitely Turka left in Albuquerque when we should have gone to Roswell. So back to Emily's knife scales. Get back. We're back on track now.
On the way home, I was talking about these scales, and my boyfriend goes, "Why don't you make them?" And I go, "What do you mean, make them?" And he says, "Why don't you just make them?" So I went home and started studying resin. I had no idea. I started buying supplies and equipment and started mixing up swirls, and they did not look like anything at first for the first few months. And then I had so many sets that I decided to open an Etsy store so I can start from somewhere. And I don't know how long after that, my family started pushing me towards social media, and I started growing. Maybe a year after I started making the scales, the first resin scales, somebody contacted me on Etsy and said, "Can you make a set that looks like rainbow trout?" And I was like, "No. Like, who does that?" Right? It's one of my most popular designs.
Let me stop you right there. I have a pair of rainbow trout tennis shoes. I have a pair of rainbow trout flip-flops. I have a rainbow trout handkerchief. I have a lot of things that are rainbow trout. I was a rainbow trout visionary, but go right ahead. Go right. I didn't make these. I bought them. So I'm just letting you know, there's a market for rainbow trout, but go right ahead.
I'll make you a set of rainbow trout. It is probably the most popular set. Right there up with the brook trout. I can't tell which one is more popular, but and that's how it started. Is when I got exposed to social media, a few people picked me up and carried me into other places and got my name shared on their sites, and here I am making dozens and dozens of designs. I think that right now I'm known for being able to make pretty much any design you throw my way. That's all I do. All I do is custom now.
Just so you know, there's my area at Rainbow Trout Shoots. Just letting you know. I had to show it.
Fancy, very fancy.
Fancy. So are you making scales full time?
No, I have a job.
Gotcha.
Okay, define full time. So the time I don't spend at my job,
you're making scales.
I'm making scales.
And yes, yes, it's you get a little bit of sleep, but the rest of it is doing the other things. And that's what I find. That's what I find is that for so many people, well, number one, I've talked on the show about being a fishing lure maker before, and I did that for many, many years. And it averaged probably about $1.25 an hour is what I made, and my lures
right.
And my lures were very, very expensive. I mean, that's back when I was asking $15, $20 a lure, and people were like, "Do what?" And then they would go to Bass Pro Shops though, and they would drop $15 or $20 on a Lucky Craft from Japan or China without thinking twice about it. But a handmade lure, what are you talking about? Well, a lot of the pros started using them, and I still, my pay went up to about $1.01 an hour at that point. That was down because now I was giving away a lot of lures. And I came out with a thing called a micarta lip. I was Mr. Micarta before micarta was cool in knife making. And I was putting micarta coffin lips and round bills and stuff like that on wooden lures to because they didn't break, and they actually made the lure hunt a little bit, which is a unique thing in fishing lures. And especially when they deflect or just going through the water, and all of a sudden they just shoot off left or right. And those will elicit strikes. Well, I sent some lures to a fella, and next thing I know, there's a major manufacturer that's come out with their line of wooden fishing lures, a mass-produced item with micarta lips. So I don't think it was patentable, or maybe, because I wasn't making the micarta and it wasn't anything special, but it was a little disheartening. And then the Chinese got crazy when Bassmaster was bought by ESPN, and they flooded the market with everything. And I'm actually not against Chinese people. I actually been to China, and Chinese people are very nice people, but and they're very good business people because, I was another person that just couldn't compete with all of that. Just decided, well, I'm just going to make lures for myself. And then gas was $4 a dead gallon, and I sold my boat and got rid of my bass fishing stuff and bought waders and fell in love with trout, hence the trout shoes. There you go. So, but you don't have to tell us, what do you do during the day? Or actually, let's all take a moment here, and we will be Mark will be donating an anvil to either you or me, whoever wins it. Let's guess what Emily's day job is. So, Jason.
Jason might know.
I have known this before. You have told me, and I've totally forgotten. I'm going to guess. I can't remember. It seems like it might be nursing or something like that.
Don't say it. I've
talked to him about it. I've talked to him.
I know we've talked about it. I also swear that I have forgotten it. I really don't remember. But I remember talking about it. I just don't remember what the answer was.
Nursing is close. Is it in the medical field?
Yes.
Okay. Do you and you do not work in a hospital cafeteria?
No.
She's a lunch lady.
It's in the medical field, close to being a nurse. So if she was a nurse practitioner, she would have said, "Yes, I'm a nurse." I don't think she's a doctor, because if she was a medical doctor, not that you couldn't be, but I would say no, because you wouldn't be making scales. You'd just you'd be collecting fast cars. So it's not that. Next question. Next, I have to have a little more detail. Do you work in a medical setting?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing I do remember is that you are not a mammography tech. because I met that lady. There's a lady that's whose husband is a knife maker. I won't call her out, but that's her day job. Is taking pictures of
There's
boobies.
something like three ladies, knife makers.
You are
this is a knife maker's wife. He was behind me at a show.
Okay, let me don't. You work in medical. Give that one away. You work in medical imaging, doing upper and lower GI barium studies.
No.
Mark, what do you think? I've gotten you that close.
I think she does Bigfoot rehab.
No. Come on. That's you said rehab. So do you do
not so much rehab, it's full medical.
Occupation? It's not occupational physical therapy.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with rehab.
All right. Well, phlebotomist.
I do that every day. Yes, that's part of my job, but that's not my job.
COVID vaccine injector. Medical assistant.
I mean, we can go through the entire medical field.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you work at a blood bank? Like
you work at
people do
LabCorp
donations?
Hold on, there's two people.
LabCorp.
No.
Okay, you can tell us.
I work at an emergency veterinary hospital.
I was close with the Bigfoot.
Yeah, you were closer than us.
That's why I said Bigfoot close.
I win the anvil.
You win your own anvil. Look at that.
That's right.
Look at that. Well, that is very commendable as a person that is a pet owner and as a person that had a pet that decided to eat the entire chocolate gift package from a church one time that was full of chocolate. It was for people addicted to chocolate, and thank goodness it was milk chocolate instead of dark chocolate. That little sucker survived. So he looked like a soft serve chocolate ice cream machine for several days, though.
Man,
everywhere. I guess I need to redeem myself with that by talking about redeemsteel.com. You know, they're made of craftsmen of all sorts: blacksmiths, bladesmiths, metalworkers, woodworkers, leather crafters, etc. They use their talents to build homes for the homeless, give water to the thirsty, feed the hungry, share the good news of Jesus Christ, and so much more all over the world. Redeem Steel uses the work of their hands and the words of their lips to make an everlasting impact on those that they serve. Guys, I talk about them all the time. They are a blessed organization. So check out redeemsteel.com and see how you can get involved with them or lend them a hand or a donation. They're a good group. Check them out today. Speaking of that, Emily, you've been working we're several weeks past it now, but you were working pretty hard with some of the recovery efforts or making sure people were taken care of with the hurricane that we had come up through Florida and North Carolina, Georgia, and so on. How's all that gone?
So, about 6 weeks ago, Chuck Payne from Labrador Forge contacted me and told me that John Norwood, which is a great knife maker, had lost his entire property. Pretty much the whole part of that mountain got lost by a landslide. And unfortunately, his fiance got taken away too. He had some pretty bad injuries. And Chuck Payne asked me if I can donate something or do something to help out. So I decided that I was going to auction off some of my sets. And when I announced that, the entire knife making community pretty much started messaging me and sending donations and items and offering help in such an enormous way that I was overwhelmed. So I started running auctions of all of these donations that people wanted to give to help John Norwood. And I ran them for 6 weeks. I ran 102 auctions.
Wow.
And we raised $25,000. It
How
was
much?
a lot of work. It
How
was a
much
lot
money?
of communication. $25,000.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. What an angel you are.
Yes. I am incredibly grateful to all of these people who donated, all of the people who participated in the auctions, all of the people who bid on the auctions, all of the people who shared all of my auctions throughout social media, YouTube, everyone involved. I just could not have done it without them. The support was mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
This community is the best community in the world. This is my family. This is my family now.
It really is. And I tell you what, and I hope you don't like me any less, because now that you work for an emergency veterinary service, I work in the chicken industry.
I eat chicken. I like my
very
chicken
good.
nuggets.
Very good. Very good. I feel so much better. God provided a wonderful protein resource for us. And honestly, you can't work in that industry unless you have a heart. And we are very, the industry I work in and the people that I work with specifically are very humane and very grateful for what we have. So good. But to get back to your story, that is such a large amount of money. And I know that's only a drop in the bucket to all that was lost, but that was such a huge drop. I didn't realize it was that magnitude and how much you put in it, even though I knew you were putting a lot into it. That's a beautiful thing. We're going to have to actually get you to get a microphone and hook up your computer and come on here more often. So I'll probably be sending you a microphone down the road and make you an official guest host.
Sounds
What
good.
do you think about that, guys? Does her heart get her on the like the Big Hand Dave, the guest host when we need a backfiller and this, that, and the other? That Emily's.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
Absolutely.
You know, I watched all of that unfold on social media. Emily and I have known each other tangentially for what, 4 years now, probably a long time.
4
Wow.
or 5 years, probably.
Yeah, long time. But watching that all unfold, I think every knife maker realizes that we are all one day away from exactly that, right? I mean, there's a guy down here in Texas whose shop burned down a couple of months ago. Similar kind of a deal where everybody chipped in. Famous mastersmith, again, I won't call him out, but whose shop burned to nothing.
Yes.
And a few years, that was 6 or 7 years ago now, but again, same thing. The community came together and worked together and donated what we have, a little bit of time, a little bit of knives, to try to help them out. And, I don't know if you see that in other communities. I don't know.
No, I'm sure you do in some communities, but communities that have a heart like. Have you ever met a bad knife maker? I've only met one. And he looked at Eric and he says, I looked at Eric Rivers and said, you can photograph it, but you ain't going to be able to make it. And Eric's like, Eric was just like, dude, I was just going to take a video and put it on Facebook on my channel. And he handled that very gracefully. And that guy wasn't bad. He was just a little cocky was all. But no, you're right. I'm sure there's other groups out there, but that are similar. But yeah, I have found that this is such a tight knit group that even the creme de la creme people that we, if you look at the Malmasis and the Jeff Faders and the what's his name in Hawaii? I'm sorry, I should be smacked.
About Neil Kamimura.
Yeah, him and and the guys up in New England. If you look at our buddy over at Maritime Knife Supply, the guys over at Pop's Knife Supplies and all they do to give back in their time and this, that, and the other. And when you go visit them, you're like you're talking to a friend. You're like you're talking to someone. That you've known for years. Even the first time I met Emily, she threw her arms around me, and I was like, Wow,
I'm a hugger.
no. I'm a hugging person too, and that just was. And she didn't, she walked up and announced her hugging with her arms wide open. Mine went wide open, and then everybody in the place went, "Aw!" But and I got jealous because I saw everybody that comes to her, she hugs or they hug her. So it wasn't just me, but that's this community. Whether it's an actual hug or with intent, it's a very loving community. And what you did is so wonderful. And I will tell you, everybody that I've called out on the show and said, you're going to get a microphone and you're going to be on this show has gone on to basically become nothing more than a minion of mine to keep this running. But I wish you the best. I sat I sat and lie and say, hey, we had 10 million views or listens last month, and it was like 3, but and they were me listening to it twice in one of them. But no, actually, that's interesting because I've had so many people walk up to me at places I've been here recently and just catch me out of the blue and say, Chip Carlisle, how are you? Want to talk about the Knives Templars, or it may be something like, I've caught your show, and it just surprises me the number of people that haven't. Certainly, we're not 1% of a Joe Rogan by any means, and I'm just joking by even saying that. But in our community, it's nice that we do have that voice. And
yes,
do we know what his status is today, health wise?
As in, so. Yes and no. I've been keeping in touch with his sister, Maggie. We became pretty good friends because initially, actually, throughout this entire time, I talked to her almost every day. And I know health-wise he's fine. She was complaining that he wasn't all recovered yet when he was building something on the porch of his mom. And I told her, just let him. A man needs a purpose. Let him build. Just let him build whatever he wants to build. He needs to do that. He lives with his sister right now. I know that some other knife makers were gathering or talking about gifting him a forge and some other pretty big equipment, knife making equipment. I don't know how far that went because he doesn't have a home to set up a workshop at.
Right.
But he's good. As far as his mental state, last I heard that he's in an okay place. He's in a good place. I mean, it's going to be a struggle for him. We all know that.
Well, he lost a loved one and other things around him. And not only did it take your home and loved ones, it took the land that your home sat on as well. I mean, you're basically going back and looking at it that just nothing exists anymore.
There's nothing.
I have.
As long
I was going to say I have family members that live that's where my family is from. And we were very fortunate that while we had family members that had washed out properties and stuff, nobody lost a home or anything. But all of it was kind of like COVID. Everybody knew of somebody who lost something really big in their lives. It was very sad. I also read that a young lady went through a barricade and drove off Interstate 40 this past week or so. And plunged 100 feet down into a ravine. Interstate 40 washed out that goes through the mountains up there. It's a large interstate. And she just drove right through it and went off the side of the mountain. So it's still crazy. Still crazy.
One thing I keep doing is I keep reminding John that we're all here for him. And I keep, like, every once in a while I'll message him and be like, whenever you feel down, reach out. Any one of us will talk to you. Any one of us will probably travel to you. Just reach out because he has a long road of recovery. This is not something that it's going to get built and moved on.
No, it's totally life-changing. You're basically starting over and over.
And we did the best we can. We did a lot for him, but his road is a hard one.
Yeah. We will keep him continue to keep him in our prayers. I haven't seen a lot of updates here recently. Do we know that was his forge or any of that insured or anything, homeowners insurance or anything?
I don't know anything about that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully there's something there.
I try not to ask them questions like that because that's all on their plate.
Sure.
Once they sort it out, I'm sure they'll talk about it. But until then, let them deal with it.
Makes a lot of sense, and you are an angel, and I thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
At the same time, this story, this entire time we ran those auctions, and I talked to, I don't know, hundreds of people. I gained a lot. I gained many friends, and I actually discovered something within me that was always there, but I didn't actually pay attention to it. I'm a giver. I will just keep giving. That is my calling. Yeah. I'll just keep giving.
And you know what, Emily? I'm going to put you on my list. Go ahead, say, well, what list is that? And you probably are already okay. Yeah, no, I'm putting you on my special list. I've had a mission. My mission field for the last several years is that I realized at a point in my life when I needed to that I was a blessed person. And I may have talked about this on the show before, but number one, recognizing your God-given blessings. And if people don't believe in God or don't believe in Christianity, that's okay. I still I wish you the best, and I wish you a wonderful life. And you know, we all are on our own individual journey, but for fellow Christians and fellow people that know religion, I realized one day that I was blessed, and without those blessings, there was no hope in my life unless I was able to put that in someone that was my savior and could take everything away from me that burdened me. And when I learned that, and it was part of a study that I did with a group of people, they failed to continue on with learning the word that defines us, so to speak. And I thought, I've got to do something else with this. And I prayed and talked to God, and I realized I had to share that with other people, because I had been gifted this most beautiful thing in my life, was to actually feel and see my own blessings in my life, that I had to show people it was out there. I had to show that if you have anxiety, depression, illness, addictions, whatever it may be, there is healing, or a loss like we just talked about. There is a healer out there that will take care of you in the way of blessings. And then when I told that person and shared that they were blessed, I encouraged them to do the same, because in this world, it's not about political parties. It's not about kings and queens. It's not about who's got the best football team or sporting team. It's not about even who makes the best knife, and all things in between. It's about the love that we share through those interactions that we do. And for a Christian like me, is also sharing the love of Jesus Christ. So people in my life that I recognize that bless others, or people that may need a blessing. And I don't think you need a blessing. I think you're bless you. There you go. But I don't think that you need the blessings, because you realize it, and you're in that state where you're blessing others and giving upon yourself to others to show them that love. So what I do with that, I make them a knife. And so I will talk to you at some point in the near future about something that you would like to probably go with your collection of 6,332 knives. But this one will come with a Bigfoot etch in it, and some Bigfoot coasters. And it also comes with a little rubber Jesus. It's about 1 inch tall. And that's a new thing, because tonight I received a box of 100 little rubber Jesuses. And I did. And,
that is awesome.
I didn't know that was a thing.
They are. I found them. I'll have to come. I'm going to tell you about that. But yes, I do look forward to doing that. Yes, this past. So I look forward, and you are such a blessing. The way that I want to share and say thank you is to do something from my heart. And if you just say, hey, I don't want a knife, I would much rather have a steak turner and I'm sure you got 3,222. So let's just make a nice knife that'll come in a way that you can put it away and say thank you. For my way to say thank you for who you are. With regard to the little rubber Jesuses, Thank you. I was out in the field this week, and I was sitting in front of somebody's desk, and I looked over, and Jesus had his back to me. And I said to the guy, I said, "Can you turn that around so he faces me?" He turned it around. I said, "That is a Jesus." And these little rubber Jesus about 1 inch tall. And I guess I have to show you a picture so the listeners can't see them. But he was about 1 inch tall. And I was like, I got to have one of those. He goes, well, the traveling chaplain gave this to me. And because we have chaplains that travel throughout our business and meet with people on a daily basis, just casually, in and around. And I was like, oh, man, I wish I could had one of those. And so I figured I couldn't because the chaplain wasn't there. So then I went to another plant. And by gosh, this guy had one on his desk and somebody else was playing with one sitting at a lunch table. And I'm like, there's more than one of these in the world. So I asked them, I said, where do you get these things? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, you know what? You can find everything on Amazon. So I went on Amazon. I went on Amazon, and they come in boxes of 10, 50, and 100. And I'll hold it up for you guys. There's all the little 1 inch little rubber Jesuses. You can see
There you go.
different color sashes, and they say Jesus hearts you. So my goal with that is I'm not a big social person, but I'm a big friendly person in a social environment. And so when I come across young people or people that just need to know they're blessed, I think I'll give them a little rubber Jesus. So this Sunday, I'm going to hand out a few rubber Jesuses, and they'll say, well, somebody's going to say, where'd you get that? And I got it from Chip. And people are going to come up and say, can I have a rubber Jesus? And then they're $10 a piece. Then they're $10 a piece. No, let's get them. No, it's a neat little thing.
I got a story about that, Chip. Can I tell a story? So,
of course,
we've been talking about community. We've been talking about little rubber Jesuses. We've been talking about finding our purpose and all these things. So I was at a demonstration doing some hammering a couple of weeks ago, and this guy came up. He said, "Hey, do you know my brother Dave?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know Dave." So it was Dave Kelly, the knife maker. Emily, you may know him. It was Dave Kelly's brother. Dave Kelly's brother was like, "Hey, my dad, he's 96. He makes these little pendant things, and he gave me a little cedar wood heart with a cross on it that his 96-year-old dad makes." And that's a cool story. But then like 30 minutes later, this lady came up. She's like, "Hey, you know my brother Dave?" And it was Dave's sister, right? And Dave lives in Alabama or something, right? But his family's from Lubbock, so he lives far off. But his sister came by, and she's like, "Hey, guess what? I got something for you. My dad makes these," right? And so I got another little cross pendant from Dave's sister. And then wouldn't you know it, like 30 minutes later, here comes another guy. He's like, "Hey, you know my friend Dave," right? And it was Dave's brother. So Dave had sent his whole family one at a time to my demo, and each one of them brought some of these little cedar wood pendants that the grandpa had made. They shared with me, and that was really cool. Come to find out, churches are really small communities like Knives are, sort of. So one of the brothers had been in Scotland with a person that I later preached with. So he was the preacher where I was the youth minister, and that was the guy that was Dave's mentor in Scotland. So, or Dave's brother's mentor. Anyway, so all that to say, every community has the cool little old guys that hand out Jesuses or something. Chip. And every community also has an amazing ability to make connections, right? Just like we've been talking about this whole show, how somebody knows somebody who knows a guy who saw a thing, right? And there it goes. That's part of the joy of this business.
And that's what I mean. Love spreads love, and you just got to keep doing it.
Absolutely.
I was at a knife show in Texas down at Bastrop. Emily, you were at that one, weren't you?
Yes, I was there this year.
I thought you were. And a guy came by wearing a Knife Makers Guild shirt, and I thought I recognized him. And I was like, "Hey, what do you know about the Knife Makers Guild?" He's like, "I was on the board until 2013. I was like, "You're Kevin Hoffman." And it was Kevin Hoffman. So Kevin Hoffman has not been making knives since 2013. He retired and has traveled the world and been to 60 bajillion countries since then. I think 50 or 60 is the actual number. But he was like, "Hey, I have a bunch of old business cards. Do you want those?" Like, sure, send them. So he sent me 150 business cards from Knife Makers Guild members from 2013 and prior. So I got a Buster Warinsky, which is, if you know that name, that was freaking awesome. I did a little dance. I got some Gil Hibbins. I reached out to Linda, Gil's wife, and she said that was their card from before 1992. Like they moved from that address in 92, and I have that card. Got an old Edmund Davidson that's, again, 20 years old at least, 25 years old. Got a Wayne Goddard.
Wow.
For Wayne wrote the $50 Knife Shop. He was a guild member for a while.
Wow.
So all these legendary guys. And because random guy Kevin Hoffman walked up to my table, he was a nice guy and shared that with me because I'm in the middle of writing a history book about the guild. We're working on a directory. So anyway, just another story right up the same alley of random connections and really nice people in this industry. That's one of the things that makes us cool.
It does.
Absolutely.
It does.
Industry.
Well, I think I played that one a while ago, but all of a sudden I went to play a song a minute ago. It wasn't that one, and all for a next lead in, and all of a sudden that one finally played. So it's going to be an interesting show. That's all I have to say. And we will. And Mark's plopping in and out tonight, so I'm not sure where he's at. Emily's not uploading, but I do have a web recording, and it may upload, so we'll be just fine. No worries. We've come through thicker storms than this, have we not, Jason?
Every dadgum day, man. That made me think about how knife making really works, right? So when you get out in the shop, how often it is that you struggle the whole time, right? There are very few days that you go out to the knife shop and you just kill it all day long, right? I mean, you always screw up a little bit of something. That's just part of the business.
It's the same in the
podcasting is no different. I bet Emily's got a big old bucket full of resin chunks. It's like Fordite from Emily's resin.
Yes, I do.
Is that right?
I do. Well, when I'm working on a new design, multiple new designs every single day. Every single day I have someone saying, hey, can you make, and they'll bring up something that I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought always is like, nope. No, I can't make that. And then 5 seconds later, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can make that.
Right? You think of a way.
I know.
Is that the way you were about turkey feathers, or did you have a source for turkey feathers? I guess you probably looked up turkey feathers online.
It's so funny because somebody who wants turkey feathers cast in clear resin just sent me an entire turkey tail and an entire turkey wing.
Oh my
with
God.
all of the feathers.
That's a lot of
I
feathers.
was just cutting feathers right before I started talking to you. It's a lot of feathers. Do I have turkey feathers? I do.
That is wonderful. That's wonderful to know.
I'm going to blame that on Mr. Spaghetti Margaretti de Coco because he has mentioned those turkey feathers on this podcast at least 11 times.
Right.
Yeah, 800,
that's probably why.
To be exact. Yeah. Well, I've lost. Not only does the podcast and VMAX, I tell you what, you're crashing, baby. You're crashing. How you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's been saying 99% uploading, and so and I have good internet speed, but I just restarted my computer, so see if that fixes anything.
You're fine. I'll probably just take the. It'll be a little. The audio won't be quite as well, but I'll just take the web recording and get that one on up tonight, probably so. But no worries whatsoever. Occasionally we run into a quagmire like this, and yeah, like you were saying. It's a lot like knife making. It's 1,000 things corrected that turns into a beautiful work of art. So this will turn into another work of art tonight one way or another. Matter of fact, I've even lost my notes. I'm like, well, I know it's castingcrafts.com, so I can say, here she is looking at me. Guys, if you want some of the most beautiful resin scales and beautiful materials in the world, you need to visit Emily over at castingcrafts.com. She's been doing this for about 6 years, I found out tonight. And if while you're on the phone or emailing her, if you've got an animal emergency, you can ask her for some advice to that as well. And if you want something truly special like turkey feather scales, trust me, she will source the materials and find them for you. Not only that, she has her own beautiful designs that she comes up with. And if you've ever gone to a blade show and seen her table and just the amount of beautiful scales that are there, you would understand what I'm talking about. So visit Emily at one of the blade shows, one of the other shows that she attends, but you can always see her at castingcrafts.com and she will put something together for you. So
absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, that's as good as I could do freewheeling. I think it was okay. Hey, Jason, would you rather be a total jerk or and smart, or would you rather be sweet and really dumb?
Oh,
well, I'm already sort of a total jerk and kind of smart. I don't know what the answer to that's supposed to be.
You answered it. Yeah, I was just.
I try, man. I try to be nice, but it's just not my nature.
My son sent me a list of dilemmas, and they popped up here, so I was reading through them. So maybe this will be the show's Emily's and Dilemmas. So also, guys, go out and visit popsknifesupplies.com. Pop's Knife Supply was started 40 years ago by James Pop in the servant knife community. And interesting, for many, many years, his leading prices and actual shipping costs is what they're known by. Today, they're run by Alan Searles, Joey Berry, and Dirk Lutz, full-time knife makers, and they are great guys, focus on customer service and great products and prices. Check them out today at popsknifesupplies.com. That's not going to beat the world record for the guy I was watching on YouTube the other day as the world fastest talker. And he's saying like Michael Jackson's Thriller in like 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going for right there, but that it wasn't even close.
So I actually have a box in transit from Pops right now. And I got another box from Jance this week. Matt is sending me some resin stuff. Emily, I'll blame this on the customer. I have a customer that wanted this particular pattern, and he will end up with a paring knife and a utility and a chef and 4 steak knives and a bread knife, all in this same pattern. So I'll just make what the customer wants, right?
It does not bother me at all.
Oh, I know. That's like when Chip sells a knife. I'm happy for him. It's all good.
My wife wishes I would sell a knife and quit giving them away.
Shoot, my wife wishes I would sell a knife. I think that's part of the knife wife obligations. It's in the instructions. You have to say, "Have you sold that knife yet?" That's one of the that's one of the things.
Well, she says you got to quit buying knife stuff, and I've started buying Jeep stuff, and now that way, if she says, "Would you please go back to buying knife stuff?"
There you go.
So
it's a decent strategy.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hey, Mark, would you rather live in a country with a low cost of living but horrible weather, or live in a country with a high cost of living and amazing weather?
Well, I've lived a lot of places with awful weather, and as long as I have, I think you just make, I was in South Dakota and now I'm in Mobile, both with awful weather. And so, it's worse somewhere else. So I would pick the bad weather and the low cost of living.
I'm not sure I wouldn't pick the other one, because I live in a place with bad weather and low cost of living right now. I kind of wouldn't mind getting out of here. Like, I'm not sure I wouldn't take good weather and good fishing for a higher cost of living.
What if you used your low cost of living to invest wisely so that in your retirement years you could go to nice weather? Would you put up with it?
I'm already sort of on that. I have 8 years left.
I mean, here's my
retirement. Yes.
I mean, like I'm getting my retirement pay, right? Like, and so, it's not, especially for a lot of folks who are on fixed income, it's, if you go to a high cost of living, nothing's going to change if you're not working. Mm-hmm. And so now, I've a couple of, I'll get back to work at some point. And so, I guess if you're working and there's a high cost of living, that's comparable, right? And then it's probably great to be somewhere if you're working and getting paid more, and then there's a higher cost of living. But again, it's if I was in, this place right now, I could live on my retirement. I mean, it's
true.
here, same way with when I was in Texas. There's some great places that I can live off of my retirement. If I move back to New Jersey, where my family lives, or
not so much.
I went out to San Diego on a trip once. I mean, like there's places. San Diego, it was beautiful weather, but there is no way I'd be sleeping on the street.
No. Here's one that was written just for you, Jason, because I don't know how you're going to answer this.
Okay.
Would you rather have to wear a tuxedo shirt every day that says T-shirt every day that says I'm here for the party, or have to wear a tutu every day for a month? Both of them for a month.
For a month?
Yeah.
Man, I'd go for the tuxedo T-shirt, honestly.
Yeah.
That's so much easier to explain
Yep.
than a tutu. I mean, although, if I lived in San Diego, the tutu might get me more affirmation.
Yeah, I think so.
Not in West Texas. Not in West Texas.
It should
Not
be
in
like a
Texas.
tutu for a week or a tuxedo shirt for like a month. Like what about
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
So here's one, Chip. I'll ask you, our resident hairy guy.
Mhm.
Would you rather be bald or have no toes?
Ooh.
have no
Bold.
have no toes.
No toes? Okay.
Have
How
no
come?
toes. Because God gifts everybody with toes. Not everybody is gifted with such a mane.
Fair point. All right.
Many
I can support that answer. Good job.
Many people were castrated by God on the ability to grow a beard. I mean, what does it say in Leviticus? Not that people follow what's in Leviticus.
Are you making fun of Josh?
No, Josh can grow a hair or two on his face. I'm just saying Leviticus just says don't cut your beard. So
It does.
It does. I did read you can't use that as a defense in court to say, hey, Leviticus says this, because it doesn't hold up in court if your employer asks you to shave. They have a no shave policy. Unless there may be, like if you're Sikh or something like that, but Christian, Sikhs are Christian, but it just didn't stand up in court. So it's been people have claimed
Good to know.
They go back and check your background to see just
If you're full of crap or not. Yeah.
I believe so. Would you, Emily, would you rather spend the next 20 years as a student or spend the next 20 years as an employee?
That's a hard one. Student of what? Student just like.
And do you have to pay? Like, do you have to pay for the school? Like, if I could just be a student forever and survive, man, that was fun. I enjoyed learning stuff, but it was also really hard to eat at that time.
I'd rather be an employee, make the money, and then I can learn whatever I want on my free time.
That's what all you young people say. I would rather be a student because I will be 59, 69, and I'll be almost dead. I wouldn't have to pay the loans back. I'd be a PhD
But
with
we don't
the
know details. We don't know details of these conditions. You could be studying the same thing over and over and over and over again.
I would be taking ballet classes go back to the tutu. Little known fact, and this may be the last show after I divulge this to you guys. You see me on camera right now. You see what I look like, right?
Yep.
I will share some pictures with you sometime. I took ballet for 12 years. And took tap dancing for the same number of years and some jazz dancing too. But yes, I am a ex ballerina, and I had some good looking girlfriends. Let me tell you, some of the.
I have to see that.
Mm-hmm. I will share
It
that.
makes for good martial arts skills.
Well, I don't know about that because, but it makes for really good demi-plie. Stag leaps, shuffle ball chains, and all that. So if you want me to stand up and back up, I can show you the first 5 steps that you learn in ballet, your first couple of classes. But I danced in the Nutcracker and several other things. My teacher, Caroline Green, was a off-camera dancer with Fred Astaire for choreography. And she was in her late 60s or so when I was taking dance with her. So I may wear that tutu for a month just for shites and giggles, and
just for old time's sake,
for giggles and old time shape. You just never know. So Emily's like, I ain't hugging you no more. That was the last hug you got out of me. And guys, if you've got a past that you think that you need to get off of you, and abrasives is the only thing they're going to take it off, like being an ex-ballerina knife maker, I suggest you go to Phoenix Abrasives. They've got some great grits that will get that past right off your back. You can find them at phoenixabrasives.com. They offer great deals, prices, selection, quality, quick delivery. They have a complete inventory of belts, discs, rolls, wheels, and anything else you need to get the job done right. Enter Templar10 at checkout, get 10% off. And you're going to need something to put them belts on, so I must suggest that you get a Marabraid grinder. They got great grinders and accessories, and they're always coming out with wonderful new tools. You can find them at Marabraid.com. You know, Eric and Kevin run a great show over there, and they've got some of the best grinders, accessories, and tools on the market. They got 3 packages. They got the Mastery Foundations and the Grit Grinding. Guys, just go ahead and spend the money on the Mastery. You can't beat it. And if you can go 220, go 220. I've got the 110. And I can actually change a couple wires out and go 220 on it, but at 110, it's always made great blades. So when you call them Marabraid, you're going to speak with one of the owners, and that's going to guarantee you some of the best service around. They get things to you quickly. They offer aftermarket support and are always there for you. So check out Marabraid.com. There you go. That'll get the ballet off. That'll get the ballet off your back for sure.
And they're still coming out with good stuff. I saw they have a wraparound table now for their flat platen when you put it sideways. So,
yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. I mean, that's actually kind of cool the way it wraps around the top wheel, goes down across the platen and then down below the bottom wheel. And I think I'm not exactly sure. I could see where you would use it. It'd be great for doing the guard area and all, but with your small wheels and such, but not enough that I would purchase it at this point until I hear some great reviews, because I think I can do things free-handed, but I'm not saying it's a bad tool. It's a great tool. I just don't know if I would get my money's worth back on that, but I do want one of their surface grinders, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying where I would spend my money.
There you go. Yeah, I've seen guys use those horizontal grinder platen attachments breasts to do spines.
That's
if you insist on your spine being dead nut square, which some people do, and that's real. That's a way to do that. I've seen them.
I mean, I turn my, I put it on sideways and put my table, sideways and 90 degree it up to do my spines, because I am just really bad. I try to eye it, and then I'll look at it, and then I was like, oh, that's not even close. And then, it's wonky. So I don't have a really good eye for 90 degrees. So that definitely helps me. A 3-2-1 block, I use those things every time I put my table up. I think that's almost the tool I use more than any other tool in the shop. Like every time I do something, it seems like I pull that 3-2-1 block or a couple 3-2-1 blocks out on the drill press, on the grinder, on my, I even made a jig with it so I can square up wood, to 90 degrees, all 4 sides, on my table. So yeah, it's a good tool.
And I was going to say that with some of the tilt tables and things I've got now, I can do those kind of things already because I don't need the wraparound. But I can see that if you've got a rounded convex, what do you call that when you've got the buoy with the convex?
Tip. Oh, yeah, like a clip.
A clip. That would make those really nice and straight too. So yeah, everybody's got a reason, and we would all love to have a million tools. We just pick what fix us. Hey, here's another one. Would you rather be the ugliest person in the world or smell the worst? And I think I would just rather be the ugliest person in the world, because One reason. When I was at the Piggly Wiggly this week down in Troy, Alabama. The Piggly Wiggly, you say. For those that don't know what a Piggly Wiggly is, it's out there listening. It's a grocery store. Cost plus 10%. Mm-hmm. I was in there getting me some low-fat, low-calorie grub for the night because I don't like to go out to restaurants. It just drives me crazy waiting and then eating all that stuff. And I was checking out, and a nice little young lady said, "You smell like house." I said, "I smell like house."
What's house smell like?
I said, I've been in a chicken plant all day today. And she goes, no, not like that. She goes, "I like house. House smells good." So I'm not a pretty man, but supposedly house smells good and I smell like a house. So I would rather smell really good and just be butt ugly, which is probably not far what it is. I use Pinaud's tonic. And you guys, what's Pinaud's? That's the stuff your grandfather's put on their cheeks and body. They got liquid hair tonic and liquid cologne, and it smells like your grandfather did back in 1873. And maybe that's what house smells like, but that's what I douse myself in every day after I use my sea salt deodorant. Sea salt, you say? It's good stuff. Good stuff. And that makes me think of the Rivers Experience. Good stuff. You can find Eric over at theriversexperience.com. Let our very own Eric Rivers, Eric, come back to the show. He's been doing some shows, guys. Teach you the finer arts of knife making at the Rivers Experience on his website, YouTube, or the TRE workshop on Facebook. Join for the fun, community, video instructions, and live online events. He's been doing some great live online events like this, so check him out at theriversexperience.com. Y'all tired of would you rathers, or would you say would you rather have a slow car or a fast bike?
Ooh.
I drive a Jeep Rubicon, slow car.
It depends. So, like, is it slow relative to a Ferrari? Like, is it a slow car that only goes 70 if you floor it, or like is it a 20-mile-an-hour car?
And is it a motorcycle?
Like, is it a bike like a Ducati that'll go 200 or something stupid, or is it a fast bike like you just have to pedal real hard?
I'm gonna go with the fast. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the fast bike.
The car has a roof.
Yes, but
I'm with the car, man. Fast bike in the rain doesn't sound awesome, or the wind like we have here.
So I have a story from that, right? Like, so when I don't know if I told this before, but when I first went in the Air Force, I was living in New Jersey. My first time was in California. So I went out there. I had that's when I had my 280ZX that we've talked about before with the T-tops, great car. And so I went out there, and then my dad tells me that, hey, he sold that because I'm living on an Air Force base and I never have to drive anywhere. And then I told him, I was like, no, it's different than a ship, Dad, because he was in the Navy. And so he sent me out his motorcycle in a box. And so because it was about the same price as my 280Z to replace that. And so for like 2 or 3 years, that's all I had is just that motorcycle. It was pretty popular. I was pretty cool, except when it was rainy and foggy 3/4 of the winter out there. And I had to drive to and from work in the rain and the fog every day. And then it didn't become as fun. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I'm sorry to hear all that, but it is a good story. Which leads me to, would you rather, this is all about food now, would you rather eat a spoonful of cinnamon or a spoonful of salt?
Oh.
Salt.
Both of them can kill you, probably.
Probably.
But it's so neat
cinnamon
to see.
Can be toxic.
Yeah,
cinnamon can be toxic.
Yeah, there was a whole cinnamon challenge thing,
yeah.
wasn't there, for a while?
Yeah.
It's like non,
yes,
like
there was something
it's
about it.
What do you call something that doesn't really dissolve in water very well?
Yeah, it's insoluble.
Hydroscopic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next question.
See, I'm smart. I'm smart, and whatever it was, I'm not nice and stupid. I'm smart and snarky, I guess.
How about if we made up one that said something like, Would you rather have to grind all your knives with a file, or I don't know. I don't have a good or.
Hammer them out. Hammer out the bevels.
No, because that's real.
Yeah, that's real. Jason, what's a good other thing? Or pick another or.
I don't know. Would you rather forge only from 2-inch round bar?
Oh, okay.
Or only use MagnaCut with a file?
2-inch round bar. 2-inch round.
Yeah,
2-inch round bar.
It would totally suck, by the way.
Would you
MagnaCut with a file or 2-inch round bar with a hand hammer?
Would you rather grind all of your knives with a file or Eric Rivers grinder with no VFD?
Oh, I'm still totally going no VFD. Like my first 2 grinders didn't have VFD.
Yeah, I learned to grind on a 2x42 at the speed of sound. So yeah,
same.
Would you rather eat nothing but celery or oatmeal for the rest of your life? I saw The Matrix. It looked like oatmeal they were eating. I would eat the oatmeal.
Gonna die either way. I'm gonna go with oatmeal because there's at least flavored oatmeal. Like celery is just celery. I mean, I guess you could put peanut butter and stuff on it, but it doesn't have any calories either.
There's no calories in the celery.
Would you rather use only a fork with no spoon your entire life, or only be able to use a spoon with no fork? Now, there's no sporks, so don't say it. So, would you rather use a fork only? A spoon? Yes, I think a spoon.
A spoon.
Spoon's more useful.
Spoon in my fingers.
Yeah, I eat chicken soup every day for lunch, and I have for several years. I love chicken soup, so that fork would get in the way. Even though I could turn the bowl up, but still.
You can fork with a knife too, like if you got a good pokey knife.
You can fork with your fingers.
Sure, you just pick it up.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right. You can't pick up soup with your fingers.
I was going to say that Asian people don't have forks or spoons, but they have the chopsticks. But then they have those big giant soup spoons that make ours look stupid. So. Yeah, so I don't know. Would you rather have to always tell the truth to your enemies, or lie to your lie? That makes no sense. Move on. Would you rather be able to say thanks again, or never be able to ask for help again? Would you rather not ever be able to say thank you again, or never be able to ask for help again?
Never be able to ask for help. I like saying thank you. I don't ask for help a lot anyway.
You asked for help lifting that damn anvil and log.
No. I told my wife to go unload that thing. I did not ask anybody for help. I said, go unload that anvil. He's much stronger than I am.
Well, I was talking about the other end of the journey, but go right ahead.
Oh.
Are you?
So I would say the opposite. So I was blessed with a thesaurus in my head, right? So I can come up with 72 other ways to give someone gratitude. Yeah, I sometimes need some help, so I'm going to
that's a good point.
Go that way.
Would you rather continue to ask dilemmas or tell Chip to get off of this subject? Going south. It's going south.
We're digging pretty deep. Yeah. So let's pivot over to our usual, Chip. How about, what does the knife making world hold for you this weekend? Do you have plans? What's next on tap?
It does. And I would say that I have to take my pattern I made this week and put it on my guard and get my guard ground out and finished up. It fits beautifully. So it's just making sure that I only don't take it to a grinder, Chip, except for to grind out the finger choil area. Slowly hand sand that thing into perfect shape so that I don't lose that fit. Don't want to lose that fit. And then I hope to on Sunday be putting in the heat setting or burning in the handle into the tang. I always drill them out and then scrape them out a little bit, and then I just do the final with a heated torch and then heat it up and press it on there and get a really nice tight fit that way. So that's kind of what I want to do this weekend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that blade looks really good. I'll tell you one thing I noticed. I can't remember what you told me. What is it sanded to right now? Your blade?
Well, because of all the work I've done, I didn't tape it up. I knew I wasn't going to do anything. It got gouges in it, so it's got surface scratches and stuff that still have to clean out. So I'm gonna take it at 320 and take it back up to 800 and drop it back down to 60, and then I'll Scotch Brite it after that with some white pad. Okay. I learned about white pads from Jason Fry at Blade Show this past year instead of the green ones that I use.
Oh, I've been using gray. Is white finer than gray?
They're pretty darn fine. Like they're really fine. I learned about them from Brian Tomberlin. He says they're great for handle fittings in particular.
Oh.
Yeah, they're good on
wood handles. They're fine enough that you can kind of just polish wood or.
And that's what I found out. They're great on wood. As a matter of fact, when you weren't looking, Mark, on the little bit of spot that you had developed on that knife where somebody touched it, I took a white, one of my white pads to the spine, just trying to clean that off a little bit. And I thought, I better not. If I mar his knife, he's going to kill me dead. So when you were inside the house for a few minutes before you left, and I was out there going, what if I put a little oil on this white pad? And then I touched it to it, and I'm like, nah, don't do it. If you do something, you can't gain forgiveness back on that. So
it's all good. Even though I was surprised that a lot of folks like that knife at Blade Show or at Blade Club or whatever we're calling it, Knife Club.
So he got hung up. He quit talking about
it. Froze again.
Yes, because you can't talk about Knife Club. I had to stop him.
Club. That's right.
I had to cut him off.
Not what we're doing.
There, he's back. Now he's back.
All right.
You froze up on us and we couldn't hear you. So it was like you cut off and right at the point you were about to talk about Knife Club.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't talk about knife. No, have you got that knife with you right now?
No.
Well, guys, he made a beautiful knife, a gorgeous knife.
This one, which is just like it. In
blue.
Yeah.
So it's a gorgeous knife, and he had this beautiful white linen micarta handle on it and a matching bead. And don't anybody out there think that Mark Vasillo is still learning to make knives, because that was a gorgeous blade. And I did see you post the pictures of the one out there. You have only thing you can't do is hammer out a knife, so it's time to go ahead and hammer one. The reason I say that is because you just haven't hammered out one for us and finished it yet.
Yeah, that's my. Once I finish the cleaver, which is the last one of these three, I have to finish up. I'm gonna try to beat some steel on that anvil.
Get your little Hell's Forge. I mean, yeah, you can use your 1 brick forge, 2 brick forge, whatever it is, but get you a little cheap forge and heat the steel up nice and red, and go out there and beat it into something. But man, that knife was gorgeous. I would have loved to have had that knife, but you were too cheap to offer it to me.
There's some stuff wrong with that knife. I got a couple things I got to fix still.
Well,
this one in blue is better. I think I'm pretty close on that one.
And I must say that if guys take a look at his knives online, the stitching on the sheath is so. It almost looks machined. It's so beautiful. So, Mark, I envy your leather skills and their sewing skills. Emily, I have a question for you. They asked me what I'm going to do this weekend. Why do you not have a bandsaw and out there making segmented scales and all that, or do you do that? I haven't seen that from you yet.
I do have a bandsaw.
Yes.
I don't make that type of scales for 2 reasons. First, I really don't have the time. In fact, Sarah that makes the segmented scales, suggested that at one point, but I really do not have the time to invest into something like that. Mm. And second, look at the scales she makes. They're gorgeous, and there's so many other people who make that type of scales. I don't have to branch off towards that.
Right. Okay. So you didn't really answer my question. It was really like, why haven't you started that yet? Because I would really love to see you doing that also. And I understand what you're saying. It's not what you do, but I thought that's something with your color choices, your palettes, and the things that you do. If you ever went down that road, man, I tell you what, that'd be nice. But yeah, I was just curious why you didn't.
Not only that, but I have so many sets that I have failed or at least one scale is felt and the other one is perfectly good, that I could use them. But I honestly, I don't have the time. I work on custom designs all the time.
Yeah.
All I do is custom.
So let me interpret that for you guys. There is actually a knife scale mafia out there, and she and Sarah have a really loose truce going on right now. That don't you step on my corner, and I won't step on yours, and there'll be no bloodshed or resin spilled, so to speak. So, all right. Well, I understand. Jason, what you asked me? What are you doing this weekend?
Yeah, so I have a few plans. Like I said, I heat treated an enormous amount of blades last weekend. You did. So I really should work on some of those. I will probably try to be responsible and work on the ones for that guy's Christmas order that I mentioned. I've got 4 steak knives and a bread knife to do. I've never made a serrated bread knife before. I got a couple of different ideas on how to do that. So that may be my challenge for the weekend. What I also have, I did some Hamon last weekend. I had some W2 forged blades that I had sitting around forever, and a couple of them came out pretty good. Like I was happy with it, and I'm not happy with them that often. Like they were all right, and so I kind of have this urge to do that giant buoy with a Hamon and be some walrus and stuff. It's been a while since I've done a mega buoy. But, the responsible thing to do is finish some of those little knives that people will actually buy.
Gotcha.
So I saw your video on the Hamons there. So what did not go right that some of them weren't as crisp as the others? Like what was the difference?
It's all about your temperature control.
Okay.
By temperature control, I mean using your eyeball and deciding when to quench. Right. So the way I do Hamon, I put the clay on, I put it in the forge, and I watch the color as I work the knife. And when it's the color I think it should be, I quench it. And what I discovered this time was that the color needed to be about 2 shades darker than I wanted it to be. Right. So when you quench from too hot with your Hamon, it washes out. It doesn't follow the clay. It chases all the way up. So either get full hardness or a washed out muddy mess at the top if you're too hot. So that's what it was. After the first round, I hit 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 the first round. And then the next one I hit 2 out of the 3 that were left. Then that last one, I'm not sure it's not 1084. I thought it was W2, but I remember I made it out of a little piece of steel about as big as your pinky finger. And it wasn't marked. I thought it was W2, but it acted like 1084 because I couldn't get it to do anything except a kind of a generic line. So I don't know about that one. But anyway, I've got those Hamon buoys and a good hunter. But again, the responsible thing to do is make kitchen knives. So I probably will try to do that. I say it's my birthday tomorrow too. I don't think we have any major plans, but my wife tends to minor surprise me a little bit. I'm not the kind of guy that wants like a big old monster surprise party. That drives me crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if she made dinner or something anyway. We'll see how it goes.
That would be nice.
That's the plan. And then Sunday I'm singing at church and doing some more knives a little bit. And then all next week I travel. So we, Chip rescues chickens and Emily takes blood from puppies, and Mark cleans up trash. At least he did. Now he makes knives. But no, so I work in state government, and we have our federal auditors coming in next week at a facility I'm working at. So I get to go get audited by the feds, and honestly, it's not awesome. That's what made me. That is what made me a secessionist. To be honest, is the feds getting in my day job.
So I wouldn't wear the tutu. I would wear the tuck shirt next week.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to wear my "Make Texas a Country Again" hat either.
No,
but you don't bite the hand that feeds all the time.
No.
Anyhow, that's what I'm doing the next few days.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that government gets a little slimmer over the next several years, next 4 years anyway. Just to reset the clock, so to speak, a little bit. I think there's got to be a balance of power on both sides, and I'm not going to get political. I just kind of hope to see the pendulum swing a little bit back the other way.
Yep. So you're saying there's a chance?
We will see. We will see. Man, look at this beard on camera here, man. This thing's starting to get some growth. Before you know it,
it's getting serious.
It's going to be back down to its 18 inches of glory. Yeah, I've even got on the mustache now is now starting to go up. So I've got Junior Santa Claus going on here. It's getting wider too. So, Mark, did we ask what you're doing this weekend?
No, but I can tell you. So this weekend, actually, as of Saturday, I am not making knives because I am driving up to Birmingham. And my wife wanted to go and see Pink. So we're going to be driving up there for that concert, and we're spending the night Saturday night, and we're going to drive back Sunday morning.
Nice.
Did you want to come? Did you want to come to my house while she's at the Pink show?
We're going to the Pink show. So,
you're going to see Pink. Well, if I
am her guest.
I got you. She's got some good music. See, but in perspective, I'm going to see the Cleverleys in January. So, and I found out that Jason Fry's brother is a big fan of the Cleverleys and likes to go see them as well.
He introduced me to them at one of the Blade shows. He showed me their music for the first time.
Yeah,
it's pretty good stuff.
Cleverleys are kind of like the Monkees. Dr. Digger Cleverly, otherwise known as Paul, he had a great idea for a sitcom several years ago and put together this group of traveling Kentucky brothers that were just kind of silly. And they were bluegrass singers, this, that, and the other, and it actually ended up becoming a band. And it's got people that rotate in and out of it, but he's always been the front man for it, and they play a lot of modern pop and rock music, but it's to a bluegrass theme. They're one of the original guys that did that. It really caught on for other people that did that afterwards. So
pretty dadgum hilarious. So my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So better than yours. Yep, that's good stuff.
So, and as we mentioned on the last show, that I'll be making a knife for Dr. Digger here shortly. As a matter of fact, a piece of that steel that I got from you, Mark, I'm going to bang it out up at the Coleman Forge and do that one for him. So I'm looking forward to that. And then hopefully he'll bring me up on stage in January. I'm just hoping. I'm not asking or anything, but I'd like to introduce y'all to my my knife maker, Chip Carlisle, otherwise known as Shagman, and we're going to sing Milkshake for y'all now. And I'll just start dancing off to the side. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I've seen Skillet. I've seen Skillet in concert. I see a Skillet sticker behind Emily.
That's nice.
That's a band.
No, it's something else.
Yeah. My son's my son wanted to go to a Skillet concert, so we went to a Skillet concert. So
all of you young people, all of you young people on this, all of y'all young people. I'm going to be cool with music, and it was so cool when my kids were young. I was still in on the music and everything they listened to. And once grunge was over, I didn't understand the words of the music anymore. So, So since the early 2000s, when grunge petered out like disco did in the early 80s, I became uncool. And if the last of mine is Cake and Pearl Jam and, all of those bands. What's the one that, I'm shaking my head here. The Nirvana's lead singer's Hole. That's another band.
Yeah, Hole. Courtney Love. Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah, so that's kind of the end of my, and everything prior to that and up to that grunge era, and then I just kind of fell apart. Stone Temple Pilots and all that.
Right. I'm playing tricks with my kids. So my kids always want me to lay with them, which means I lay on the floor while they talk and try to go to sleep. And it's annoying as crap, but someday they're going to stop asking me to do that. So I'm going to keep doing it until then. Right? So,
that's right.
So I have got them listening to mellow songs from the 60s and 70s. So like Simon and Garfunkel and even weird stuff that they don't know what it's about, like Stairway to Heaven or Hotel California, or like some of these kind of mellowy songs from that era, the American Pie. So I have introduced my kids to classic music, even more classic than mine, even though now they put my Nirvana on the classic rock station, right? That's annoying.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's like you turn on the oldies station and it's Smashing Pumpkins. You're like, God, what the crap is this, right? But so I'm trying to at least keep my kids in touch with the classics.
I saw some video earlier today. Somebody showed me it was Metallica, and the lead singer from Metallica was singing a song to Huey Lewis's, what is it, Hip to Be Square or something like that. And he was singing Enter Sandman, and the beat, and you can play every song with 3 chords, but these 2 songs matched up beautifully. I can find it. I'll send it to you. It was just like the coolest thing. I'm like, I think I like both versions. I certainly do.
So there's a Metallica bluegrass genre.
Yes, yes, I've
that's
heard many
like
of that.
your Cleverly's meshed with Metallica songs.
Yeah, there's a group called Iron Horse out of Muscle Shoals area of Alabama.
That's exactly the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, Iron Horse has actually played at churches and stuff around here as well, and they're a very talented group. But I like to listen to Iron Horse as well. Guys, we're going to take a vote right now. We're going to put Emily in the soundproof booth, so she's in there. She cannot hear us now, and she looks a little confused because all of a sudden, you're supposed to act like you can't hear us. So guys, we're going to take a vote, and we'll announce it, and we'll bring her back live with us. So let me turn off the sound. She can't hear us now. Very good. So guys, Emily has to accept this. I don't know if she wants it, but I think that if you guys are in agreement, we should put on her. I am the host of the Knives Templars podcast. Jason and Mark are co-host and equal peers. I just happen to own the podcast is the only reason I get to be host. Otherwise, they are equally as talented. With that being said, I do have veto power only on receipts for meals because I don't pay for any. Don't turn in any.
So if you eat a hamburger on a business trip, you're paying for it yourself. That's just
I'm not paying. I'm not paying for that. Blade Show, I may get you something and bring it back to the table, but that's about the extent of my niceness. Guys, I would like to have Emily on as a guest host when she's available and would like to come on. We'll have to get her a microphone and hook her up to her. You got a computer at the house, Emily? Oh, she can't hear us. We'll ask her in a second. Oh, she can hear us still. So everybody that wants Emily in as a guest host on the Knives Templars, as a Knives Templar, say aye.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Okay. So, Emily, we will extend that offer to you. We don't do that often. And you let me know later on after the show. And it's been a long time since we have. And it seems like a good time to bring in another guest host. And what that means is when we have an opening or you want to be on the show, we'll always make room for that. And sometimes that leads into a co-hosting gig as well. It gives you the opportunity to stump for your own products as well as talk about other makers and stuff out there. And it gives us a nice mix of people that do things that we like to talk about, which is making knives and being a good steward in the community. So I won't put you on the spot right now, but we have extended you that offer. You didn't know that was a coming. And if you like that, then you will send us a suitable photograph of yourself, meaning that you feel is suitable. We think you're a beautiful person, and we will put it on the website, and you will be an official Knives Templar co-host. So we will leave that to you. What say you?
That sounds absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I will send you that photograph. Yes.
Well, good. So, and I was getting ready to negotiate salary, and she just said she'd volunteer for free, which is great. So, I was gonna pay for your hamburgers. You're such a nice person. I will buy you. I've been known to buy Jason.
French fries.
Yeah.
French fries.
Yes, a big one too, because just like Carl Childers in Sling Blade, he'll take a big one when it comes to the fries. I've been known to buy Jason Fry lunch at Blade Show, so I'm sure I will pick that up for you as well. And with that being said, welcome to the team. I'm so glad that you want to do this. I look forward to future shows with you. We record every 2 weeks, and we're going to have fun. Guys, we're approaching the 2-hour mark. So I do want to say, I don't want to go without saying, guys, check out Housemade.us, Brian Houseworth's company offers 2x72 grinders, forges, build plans, quench plates, and so much more. If you go to Housemade Industrial and check out his great Apollo forge and the 2x72, you're going to have two nice pieces of equipment to choose from. As a matter of fact, as soon as I can kill my Majestic forge, and I don't mean that, it's a great forge, I'm getting that Apollo forge. I'm just so sick of not owning one, so I'll be getting one of those today, or in the near future today if my wife would have allowed it, but not. And
just need to buy some more Jeep stuff.
Yeah,
you just need to buy some more Jeep stuff, and then she'll tell you to quit buying Jeep stuff, and you can buy the forge again.
I've got more Jeep stuff arriving tomorrow. And she did say today, you've got a lot of stuff coming in from Amazon, and I said, well, you do too. That was my only answer I had for that. And then I did mention, well, one package was 100 little rubber baby Jesuses 1 foot tall, or 100 Jesus 1 inch tall, yeah, 1 inch tall baby, or 1 inch tall Jesuses, and she liked that purchase, so I was good to go. Guys, also want you to go out and check out Clark Iron Forge. Clark Taplin makes some beautiful forges. He also makes wonderful presses, and he's actually coming out with a roller mill that Mark and I both saw in action last week as part of an entire table with a 25-ton press, and right beside it on the same table was a rolling mill. Did a wonderful job. He is such a visionary, so go check him out at Clark Iron Forge and get one of his products. I will tell you, I walked away because I picked it up. I saved $700, walked away with a 25-ton forge for $4,000. You can't beat that with a stick. With that all being mentioned, hey guys, questions, comments, product reviews, show, guest ideas, subscribe and email us at theknivestemplars@yahoo.com or DM us on Facebook at the Knives Templars Podcast Group. You can visit us at knivestemplars.com to stay up to date. Clark Taplin has. I introduced him to the podcast last week at Knife Club, and I can tell you this about Knife Club. He's texted me several times this week as he's continued to listen to episodes. It's addicting, guys. Be careful. Don't absorb too much, or you'll find yourself in Knife Club rehab. This episode is sponsored by the Rivers Experience, Redeem Steel, knife-wood.com. Ameribraid and Pop's Knife Supplies, Maritime Knife Supply. I didn't mention MaritimeKnifeSupply.com up there in Canada, offering great products and services and prices. It's a little too cold for Mark VMAX to swim up that way, but he may launch himself soon. He would like to launch himself many different places. You can also go to Phoenix Abrasives and get 10% off on your purchase for putting in Templars 10 at checkouts. And we just want you to have a good day. You can hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, Anchor, Amazon, YouTube Video, and CastBox. Again, visit us at theknivestemplars.com. And I want you all to know that we love you. We love you coming on the show. We appreciate what you do. We want you to go out and bless somebody's life. With that being said, all you guys are going to say,
good night.
There you go. Took you a while. Emily, this is where you say good night too.
Good night.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions. Oinky, oinky, oinky.
Man, these buttons are getting messed up. I tell you what. Spotify purchased. Who is it? No, Riverside's getting better, but these buttons have always been a mess. What is it? Spotify purchased Anchor FM, where I upload the podcast, and that's gotten a little squirrely on how I get things uploaded there. So, anyway, yeah, we'll see how this one. Go ahead.
I was going to say I learned that StreamYard does not like me. So in working the rounds doing book podcasts and things, I've done some Zoom, I've done a couple of Riverside, I've done a bunch of StreamYard, and every single time it's not Riverside. My sound goes in and out all stupid for no reason at all. So I'm glad, Chip, that Riverside works for you, for us. It makes a better quality product.
Yeah, Mark was jumping off tonight. I think he had some connections issues, which I've had in the past. For some reason, it says Emily's has not uploaded at all, but that may just be because she's coming in on a phone tonight. Emily, we'll talk about it, and if you want me to purchase it, I'll be more than happy to. But you'll want to end up getting a set of headphones and a Yeti microphone. Works beautifully, and you can plug that into your computer and install the Riverside app on there, and you'll have great audio in the future. So we can talk about that a little bit. But Riverside does a good job. Every once in a while, we have to upload a web-based program because something's crashed. But a lot of times, it's not so much Riverside as much it's environmental conditions, meaning product problems in the network lines somewhere in America.
Yeah. Yep. And to be fair, I think the problem with those other ones for me is my sound card is a little slow, and Riverside works better. It's something about how fast it streams the audio.
Yeah, and tonight we've got people that are spread hundreds of miles apart, as we do with all of our recordings. And, to be able to do that, most recordings are done with a sound table in a studio, whether it be somebody's bedroom they've turned into a studio or a living room or an actual studio, and they're doing the recordings all right there. So much different. So when you're doing it telephonically over the web, it's a different experience. So we still put out a pretty good product. Every once in a while we get a squirrely one, but it is what it is. Well, with that being said, Emily, you have done a wonderful job. And one of the reasons I keyed in and said, let's get her on the show is because you did exactly what I wanted you to. You didn't hold back. You contributed. You were funny. You're as good as you always are. And honestly, I think you touched not only mine, but everybody's heart on this show and everybody that's going to listen to it next week with the heart that you have. You're truly a blessed person, and you share those things with other people. So
thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It's such a good game to be a part of. It's great.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
We've always been part of the same gang, but now we're going to give you some colors to wear. So if you see somebody wearing like Knife Talk green or Knife Perspective tan, we may need to do it. You may be initiated by asking you to do a drive-by on those guys and take them out. So we are. We are.
Bulgarian way. I'll do it the Bulgarian way.
Oh, there you go.
I'm afraid to ask.
That may be better after the recording, right?
We always let Jason.
Like pinto sauce, maybe like pinto sauce, where it takes us a couple or 3 episodes to kind of finally reveal.
And we do all of our talk about Texas Succession after the show. So Jason's like, it's not funny.
Man, it's all good. It's all good. I do try to not cross the streams, though. I mean, that's a Ghostbusters reference.
Well, all the normal people are moving to Texas. You've got is Musk living there along with Joe Rogan?
Musk is they've all moved down there so far.
And
Dallas, and there's
who's going to win the fight tonight?
Oh, I forgot about that. I don't even want to know. I'm already done with it.
I don't follow that stuff at all.
I don't either, but I grew up watching Mike Tyson, go to somebody else's house that paid $59.95 back in 1985 to watch the fight. You bring the beer and then he knocks the guy out in 3 seconds and then you finish the beer and go home. But he's had a few longer fights and all, but there's a big age difference here, and it's almost like, the 70s boxers, the Joe, what's his name? George Foreman, excuse me. These guys, in their later years. So I would kind of like to see the 58-year-old knock the kid out, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be a draw, but he sure did slap him pretty good when they went up there for the weigh-in yesterday.
There's really no winning for Jake, right? Because if he wins, then all he did is beat up an old guy. Right? If he loses, then he got beat up by an old guy. Like there's even if he wins, he doesn't win, right? Like, and so I don't think it's and then Tyson, I don't know. I always like to see, I'd like to see him win.
Well, and we'll leave you guys with that, and next show we will know the answer to that dilemma. Would you rather be the guy that got beat up by Mike Tyson or the guy that beat him up? Answer. answers next time on the KnivesTemplars.com.